one tutorial for the Sarah skirt. This is a really nice and quick bake, and it's really beginner friendly. If you have purchased this pattern from me, then thank you so much. If you just found this video and you would like to make this skirt, then you can find the sewing pattern from the link in the description. Before you're ready to start this tutorial today, then you'll need to download the information pack that is in the downloadable files, and that will just explain to you how to print your pattern, how to assemble your pages together. It has a size chart so you can find your size, and it will also tell you recommended fabrics and the cutting layout. So you'll need to do that before you're ready to start this tutorial, because then you'll be at the stage that I'm at now, and that's with all my pieces cut. So what you will need for this tutorial is very simple. You'll need your pattern pieces cut, a sewing machine, an overlocker if you have one. If you don't have one, then it's not a problem. You can just use either a zigzag stitch on your normal machine, or if you have an overlocking function on there, you could use that. Or you could use a French seam. So whenever I talk about finishing the side seams, it's just 2 side seams. Then you can use a French seam instead. You'll also need some pins, scissors, and I think that's it. So let's get sewing. So first we're going to join the side seams. So I've laid my back piece with the right side facing up, and then I'm going to put my side pieces with the right side facing down, and I'm going to pin them along both side seams, so the right sides of the fabric are facing. And now I'm going to join both side seams with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Now with your overlocker, if you have one, or just with a zigzag stitch on your machine if you don't have one, we're going to overlock both of the side seams, and then also we're going to overlock this front edge of both of your front pieces. And now with your iron, you can press both of your side seams and press them towards the back. And then each front edge you can press inwards 1 centimetre. Next we're going to stitch the 2 front edges that we've just turned in. Next, take your waistband pieces and pin them together with the right sides of the fabric facing along the straight edge, and you'll see some notches. So we're going to stitch from the top point to the first notch, and then we're going to stop between the first and the second notch, and then we're going to restart a stitch from the second notch to the third notch, and then again leave a gap between the third and the final notch, and then stitch from the final notch back to the side seam again. So this is what your center point of your waistband will look like when you finish stitching it. You've got a stitch line, then a gap, then a stitch line, then a gap, then a stitch line. Now I'm going to iron this seam allowance open. Okay, so this next part requires a little bit of space, so I've laid mine out on the floor, and hopefully you're going to be able to see this clearly. So lay your waistband out with the right side of the fabric facing up, and you'll notice that the waistband has a shorter piece and a longer piece. So make sure that the shorter piece is on your left hand side. And then what we're going to do is take your skirt, and then with your left, with your fabric facing down again, we're just going to match up this left seam with the join section here in your waistband, and then pin that together. And then just go ahead, and this is to the top side of your waistband. So then just go ahead and then pin your waistband and your skirt together all the way across this top edge. So the right sides of the fabric are facing each other. Okay, so now we're at this point now, we're going to do a little kind of magic trick. You're going to just have to trust the process at this point, because it's going to look a little bit strange. But we're going to turn this into one big kind of sausage roll. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this skirt and we're going to roll, roll, roll. So that it's now inside your waistband. And then starting at this point here where the two waistbands join, you can pull this over and then join it to the opposite side. And just make sure that your skirt is not caught in there, so your skirt's tucked in between. So the waistband's like the pastry of the sausage roll, and then this skirt strapped in the middle. And then we're just going to go along and pin it together and continue also pinning it into this the area that just has the waistband. So now you have one big sausage roll with your skirt tucked neatly inside. So we're now ready to stitch the entire way around your waistband, but what we're going to do to allow us to pull the skirt through the right way, we need to leave a gap in our stitching. So I'm going to go around this corner, and then on this straight edge here I'm going to leave a gap in my stitching of around 8 centimeters, and then that's going to allow me to pull my skirt through the right way. It doesn't matter at which point on your waistband you leave the gap, but just somewhere, don't forget, otherwise it will all be trapped inside the skirt. So I've ended my row of stitching there with a back stitch, and then I'm going to restart after a gap. Once you've stitched that waistband, then you can just cut these corners off of your seam allowance. So this corner here, and then these corners here on both ends, plus any long threads. Okay, so now you can find the hole that you left in your stitching. So I've got my gap here, and then we can use this to turn the entire skirt the right way around. So that's all pulled through the right way now, and you can see that your waistband is nicely finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this to your iron and then just give the whole thing an iron. Press out the ends of your waistband so you've got nice sharp corners on them, and yeah. So go along with your iron and just press this whole thing. So in your waistband, find the gap that you use to help you turn it through, and then we're just going to really carefully edge stitch very close to this edge just to close this gap. You can choose to do this part by hand also if you prefer. And then the other area that you need to close on your waistband is this gap here where the belt sits through. So when you've pressed it, you will find that your notches have now made a hole for your belt to be able to thread through. So I'm just going to pin this together. And then I'm going to box stitch around this hole. The final step is to hem your skirt, so I'm going to go and I'm going to fold it twice. So first of all 0.5 centimeters and then 1 centimeter, and I'm going to press it with my iron and then I'm going to stitch it in place.